Okay, Panasonic Lumix GX80, GX85. Nice little camera, great for 4K video or 1080 at 60 frames a second, 16 megapixels. Is it any good with a 40-year-old cheap lens that you can pick up on eBay? Well, I've got 3 of these lenses. They're all about 40 years old. All of them are Olympus mount lenses using a cheap adapter that I got from Amazon. Just want to take you through some stills and some video that I've done with each one, just to show you the kind of results you can expect to get with a vintage lens. So Panasonic Lumix GX80, GX85 mirrorless micro four thirds camera. I'm using these vintage Olympus OM mount lenses with this adapter here. So OM to micro four thirds adapter. Nice, well made adapter, all metal adapter. So the first lens is this Hoya HMC 28mm f2.8 manual lens. So nicely constructed, all metal and glass lens. Just want to mount that on. It's an Olympus OM bayonet mount lens. Very nice looking. Actually, it's 40 years old, this lens. So first things when we start is that we need to set the focal length of the manual lens, because the camera doesn't know what lens you've got on. So we choose the focal length and set it there. That enables the image stabilization, and it works pretty well. Also want to demonstrate that you still have the focus assist here, which is the blue highlights. If we zoom in, pinch and zoom in, you can see that the highlights there to show you've got perfect focus, and you can move that around. When you're using manual lenses, having the focus assist is essential. Okay, so I've got it set on shutter priority. You can have it on manual setting as well, but shutter priority is best. Then you can adjust the shutter speed with the front dial. Okay, so manual focus, manual aperture, of course. Let's see what we can get with it. So here's a few stills. Just have to remember that this is a 40-year-old lens, and it's a very solid, nicely made lens. It's got a nice feel to it. It's a nice size. 28mm gives you about the equivalent of a 50 on a full frame. It's a nice focal length for everyday use. It is a little soft on the distance. It's better closer up. But here's some video, and I got some good results with this lens. It's nice and sharp when you need it to be. And this is handheld, by the way, so the image stabilization works pretty well. The video is shot on 1080, 60 frames a second. So next up, this Vivitar 80-200 f4 zoom lens, another solid made lens. It's got a sliding zoom, and focus ring altogether, which works quite well. Obviously manual aperture, f4 up to 22. Nicely made lens, very heavy, but it gives some good results if you use it properly. It does need a lot of light, but you can get some really sharp photos like these ones I've got here. And it does look sharp when you zoom in on these photos, but it does depend. You know, it's easy to make a mistake with this kind of lens. Not enough light, or the shutter speed is too slow, something like that. But it has got a great macro function on here. Look at this bee. And here's some video I shot. This is obviously handheld, and with the one-touch zoom focus ring, you can get some nice results. Again, this video's shot at 1080 at 60 frames a second, and I've slowed it down obviously. Take some experimenting, but you can get some good results. If you look at this handheld on 200, which is equivalent to a 400, and that's pretty steady. And the macro is nice and sharp. Really, really useful macro function. That's handheld and it's slowed down to half speed, so 30 frames a second. Really impressive. Lastly, it's the Olympus 135 telephoto lens. And this is a really nice little lens. It's very compact, it's very solid, nice and smooth. Interestingly, it's got the aperture ring at the front. It's a nicely made, well-respected lens. It's got a built-in lens hood there, and it does give some really, really nice images and some great video. Let's have a look. So again, this lens needs a fair bit of light. It does give some nice sharp images. I've zoomed in on these photos. They look really quite nice and sharp if you get it right. Obviously, the thing about these lenses is they're all manual focus. It is easy to make a mistake with your focusing, you know, what you're focusing on. But the video is nice and sharp, nice color. It's a nice compact lens. Again, just showing the handheld. And now have a look at some comparisons between the Vivitar and the Olympus lenses. The Vivitar is not going to be as sharp as the Olympus prime lens. It just isn't. But it doesn't do a bad job. They all give good results on video. And the great thing is all of these lenses are available on eBay. The first two, $40 or less. The Olympus 135 f3.8 is going to be about $50–60 for a good one, but they are great lenses to have, and they all do great video.